Hi, okay, so today's video we're going to be talking about how to get free and cheap ebooks. So just a few things to start off. First, I'm only going to be talking about resources I actually use. Second, I live in the United States, so experiences may vary depending on where you are and if these things are available to you. And third, I do most of my ebook reading on a Kindle, although I will do it sometimes on my tablet for one of the things I'm going to talk through. And I think I'm going to talk through 4 main things, and I'll have chapters below, so if you're like, yeah, I already know this one, then you could skip on to the next one. And okay, let's get started. So, the first general resource, which most of you know exists, is your library. So the first place that you could get ebooks through your library is Overdrive and Libby, which are essentially the same platform, just through different apps and interfaces. I think most people are aware of this if they use their library, but essentially it is a checkout system that is reservation based, and your library will hold a certain number of books in its collection, and they will hold a certain number of each book in the collection. So then you get put on a list, a wait list for each book, and if it's available, you could just check it out immediately. This is for ebooks, and this is also for audiobooks. Some of the ebooks are EPUBs, and some of them are Kindle versions. So some of them you can download to your Kindle and some of them you can't. And depending on your library, you can have a certain number checked out at a time, a certain number on hold at a time, and also a certain number that you can request your library to buy. So if they don't have it, then a book that you want to read, you can try to recommend it. Through my library and through other people's libraries that I've talked to, this is a really great resource to access books, but it is not this immediate, yes, I can read it right now, it's always available, because there is that wait list part to it. And you can set your books to be automatically checked out for 7, 14, or 21 days. So sometimes when you download the app, I think this happened to me, it was for 14 days, and I had to go into my app settings and change it for 21. And then if you're done early, you could always return it. It acts like a normal physical book at the library, so if you don't finish it, you can renew it, but you're going to get put at the end of the waiting list if other people have already tried to get on it. Okay, the second resource through the library, which I think less people know about, every time I bring it up to people, they're pretty unaware that this exists. I heard about it first at Ashley at Bookish Realms channel, who is a librarian, and it is Hoopla. So Hoopla works a little bit different than Libby and Overdrive, but it is a nice complement to it. So with Hoopla, you have a certain number of things that you could check out in a month. So for my library, it's 5, but I've heard other people's being 10, and they are automatic checkouts. So you don't have to get put on a wait list. If you want it in the library, and the app has it, you can just automatically check it out until you hit that limit, 5, 10, whatever it is for your library in particular that you signed up with it through. This has ebooks and it has audiobooks. It has music and movies and TV shows as well, but I haven't explored those options. I think that it's a really nice complement to Overdrive for audiobooks. Sometimes they have the same ones, so if I don't want to get on a wait list and I want to read it right now, I can just go in and check it out through there. And sometimes they have different ones. I have personally found, especially with ebooks, that Hoopla has tons of small publishers collections on there. So I have things that I've kind of found where you can also search by publisher and small university presses. So different series as a part of those presses. So I've done a lot of searching, and I found a lot of books through there that are put out by small publishers that my library doesn't carry physically, and also doesn't carry on Overdrive or Libby, so this is a really great complementary resource. The issue that I run into with it is that the ebooks are EPUBs, and they're not Kindle books, so you can't, unless you jailbreak your Kindle, which I'm just not going to do, you can't get it onto your Kindle, and I really like that flat Paperwhite kind of screen. I don't like the glossy screen, so it's just a consolation I have to make to get these books for free, but there you have it. If you're not sure if your library has this, just check the website or talk to a librarian. There's a good chance it does. It's not as obvious of a resource available on most websites. And it does have an app. So for both of these, I should have said, I don't use Libby, I use Overdrive. So for Overdrive, I have an iPhone for work and I have an Android for personal use, and I have the app on both. So both apps are pretty functional. And I also have the same for Hoopla. So there's an Android and an Apple app for both of them. They have very similar functionalities and interfaces, and I find both of them extremely usable. So now we're going to move on into the buying books section. And I'm really only talking about Kindle books at this point. So one thing that you can do is you can go onto different websites. Two that I am subscribed to through my email are Book Riots and BookBubs. I'll try to link them below. But you can subscribe, I believe, to either a daily or a weekly email distribution list, and you will be informed of books that are on sale and just cheap books and deal books for that week. If you do it on a daily, I found that it just I got way too many emails, and it's a lot of books that I don't care about because it's books across all genres and everything. So I went to weekly, but you can miss deals if you do that because some deals don't last that long. That is a way that you can find out about a lot of books that are going on sale just generally. The issue that I personally have with this is that I have found that if I just see a deal, my brain goes, oh, you should just buy it because it's a good deal. And then I don't necessarily end up reading the book. So that this type of strategy can kind of, even though they're cheaper, if you're prone to that, it can accumulate quickly because it just looks like a good deal. And over time might be more expensive than if you were just being a little bit more particular with your books. But you can find out about new books through that avenue as well that you might not have heard about before, so it is a good option. Okay, the last option for finding cheaper ebooks for your Kindle, and honestly my favorite option that is a lot more geared toward you as a person that I don't know if a lot of people know about, which is why I'm sharing it, is EReaderIQ. So this is a website where you can track the ebooks that you want to buy. We'll see how I'm going to edit this, but I'm going to go through and show you kind of the website and the tools available. Essentially, you have your login, your account, and you can track books. So you can search whatever book that you want. We'll just look up Khaled Hosseini. We'll search him, and then we can look at the Kite Runner. So right now it's $13.99, but it says our recommendation, track it. This book has been $2.99 within the past year. So I can have a notification system set up where it sends me an email when it gets to a certain price. So I can have it notify me when it reaches $2.99. I can have it notify me when it drops by $2.99. I can have it notify me when it reaches $5.99, and then I just press that track it button and it puts it in the queue, and if it does hit $5.99, I will get an email. You can then go into your watch lists. So I'll show you my current watch list. I will do this for anything that I can't find physically, that I can't get in those other options I talked about, Overdrive, Libby, Hoopla. This is what I do. I put them on this list. The website has a lot of ads because it is free, so just keep that in mind. So here's my list. I can see the current price, the lowest price it's ever been, and my notification price, which I can change from this page. So that's the basics of how this works. The next thing that you can do with this, which is really nice, is that if you have a Kindle and you buy your books through Amazon, you, depending on the browser you use, you can get a plugin. Okay, so now let's say I want to look up the Kite Runner, just because we already did this once with this book. I would go to the Kite Runner. If I click the Kindle version, I then have this EReaderIQ plugin that comes up where I can see the prices over time. So it's on the 1 month right now, but I can see over the course of the year it dropped, looks like 1 day, and then I can see over the course of forever how often it drops. It drops rather regularly, so I can kind of make a better decision on what my price is that I want to put it at, that it'll notify me on. And I can have it I can set that up with this. So then I'm in the price history button, I can go to the track it button, and I can start tracking it right from here. So it's a really nice feature that it plugs in. If you use different browsers, I don't think it works for Firefox, so just keep that in mind. If you want to be more specific with the ebooks that you're buying and you don't have a huge list, then this is a really good way to go about it. It also helps kind of set boundaries of how much you want to spend on something, how willing you are to put a price on it, so then you can track it for that price, and if it ever gets there, then you can kind of make a decision at that point if you want to buy it, and at that point you can remove it from your tracking list. So those were the ways you can get ebooks for free or get them at a lower price that I know and use. In the comments below, feel free to share what you use. I would love to hear about other resources that are legal. And that is all I got. So until next time, happy reading.